Hi, this is Tom Maines, and I'm starting out the new year with a few recordings to show you month by month what we have to look for here in the Texas Hill Country in terms of landscaping, gardening, nature, observance, and so forth. So one of the first things we deal with this time of year is cedar. And here we have a cedar woodland. You can see how some of the trees are more gold colored and some are more green. And let me just zoom in here for a moment. And this is where the pollen comes from. This is a male tree, and these are the male cones. They are actually cones like a pine cone, but you can see this sort of gold brownish color. And these are actually starting to drop now in late January. They first come out in late December and continue. The pollination continues until early February. Okay, I'm focused now on a branch of a female tree, and you can see the berries. Cedar berries. These are very important for wildlife. Many species of birds eat them. Deer, foxes, squirrels, lots of different wildlife eat these. So there we have the cedar pollen, cones, and berries. Actually, it's not a cedar, it's a juniper, if you want to get technical. This is the Ashe Juniper of the Texas Hill Country. One distinctive feature of this tree is the patches of silvery color on the bark of the younger branches. You can see this one. And then as the branches and trunk age, they start to peel. Here's an older tree that has this peeling bark that you can see. This one's a little exaggerated because the squirrels have also been tearing off strips for their nests. The rock squirrels and the fox squirrels both use the cedar bark in their nest, and also different types of birds. Another thing I think is interesting this time of year are the winter rosettes of some of the native wildflowers. This particular one is called the Fleabane daisy, or Prairie Fleabane. It's also called Erigeron modestus, the scientific name, but I'm already seeing a bud here, and this has little white and yellow daisies about the size of your thumbnail in the spring. Here's another wildflower that stays green all year, and this one is already starting to bloom. It typically blooms in early spring, and occasionally even as early as January. And here's another one. You can see the little daisy there. And that's the four-nerve daisy, or Perky Sue. The scientific name is Tetraneuris scaposa. Here's another one. As you can see, it makes a nice little clump of evergreen foliage, and this has become quite popular as a landscape plant. A lot of nurseries carry this now. Here's some more. These are called rock lettuce, the white rock lettuce, and Pinaropappus roseus is the name for that. You can see these nice little pinwheel shapes that they make. Here's another winter grower. This is widow's tears, Tetraneuris anomala, and in the spring these will get a lot taller and have a nice blue flower, but they have a nice evergreen grassy foliage. Well, not evergreen, but at least wintergreen foliage. This one is growing near the garden wizard here. Here's another winter grower. This is Texas Aster, Symphitotrichum drummondii, variety texanum. This makes this nice clump of foliage for the winter, and in late summer and fall it has a big plume of light blue and yellow flowers. Here's another example of the Texas Aster. Here's the giant spiderwort, Tradescantia gigantea. This is what it looks like in the winter, and in the spring it will grow a lot taller and has a really nice three-part flower that's different shades of purple, sometimes pink, sort of a bluish purple usually, and I have seen a white one. Here we have a native salvia. This is Salvia roemeriana. It's a perennial, and in the late spring it will have bright red flowers that grow up above this basal rosette. And here's another perennial native wildflower. This is prairie or gray goldenrod, Solidago nemoralis. Makes a nice little clump of evergreen foliage. I noticed a lot of these growing at the Wildflower Center yesterday. This one just grew here naturally, and in the fall it has a nice little yellow flower. It's not as tall as a lot of goldenrods, so it's very much more suitable for a small garden. There's another interesting little wildflower. This is white Avens, Geum canadense. It has a little white flower in the spring, and also makes this nice winter rosette. And nearby we have an exotic. This is winter jasmine, and it doesn't have fragrant flowers like a lot of jasmine, but in the winter it does have these lovely little yellow blossoms. This one's just starting, and it makes a nice thick arching shrub about 4 feet high or so. And that's Jasminum nudiflorum, winter jasmine. Here's another winter flowering shrub, winter honeysuckle, Aster fragrantissima. These are not really extremely noticeable flowers, but they are so fragrant, and if you get downwind on a mild day, the fragrance is just amazing. Also, these will attract some bees when they're flowering. This one actually started flowering in December, late December, but primarily you'll see them blooming in January and February. So, thanks for joining me for my little garden tour, and it's getting cold. There's a norther coming in, so I'm going inside.